to work with you.
Okay, so there's a, so the motion
Virginia
is,
seconded.
Oh, okay.
Another roll call vote? Or just all in favor? Or? All in favor.
right, I think it just considering time, that this is something that could have been brought up at the workshop and would have been better off brought up at the workshop when we really could discuss it and it wasn't already 11:30. So I would just like everybody to keep things in mind that if there are issues that you want to bring up, to discuss. I think it's a little brutal to town board members and to the public to have town board meetings that go on so long, and a lot of these things should be, a lot of this discussions should happen at the workshops when we're a little more freewheeling and when this can happen. They are also public meetings. Under new business, proposed local law for the Greenway. All we have to do is set the public hearing with the vote. All we have to do is say that we've had the public hearing. We will, it is kept open until August 12th. We will vote on August 12th. I had given a preliminary advertisement for a grant consultant, grant writer. I know that it was brought up at the public hearing that the Greenway will be very helpful with grants and grant writing on certain topics, but that doesn't cover everything that a town may need municipal grants for. We certainly do not have to hire somebody to do this, but it would be, I know the town of Amenia and other towns have benefited greatly from having somebody who they could turn to for grant writing and applying for funds for municipal projects, and who kept informed about what municipal projects, what grants were available, and also knew the town, kept apprised of what the town's needs were. So it's very simple. The town of Stanford is seeking applications for a grant consultant, grant writer for applying for funds for municipal projects. Please send resume, grant experience, and fees to the town clerk, and we could then, the town board could then look at them and see, at least see what's out there and get a sense of it.
Yeah, because right now we don't have enough money. I mean, we're using all our money up for, and we're on the contingency line. We started out with $30,000, we're down to 13 and change.
We do not have to hire someone as a consultant on staff. We can have somebody who we just say, gee, this is a good person, this is the person we'd like to, to call upon if we, if we found out that there were grants available. It would be giving the town a resource that they knew about.
So in other words, we wouldn't have to lay out any money or anything like that.
No?
We just see.
We get applications and see what people's proposals are and see what their fees are. If somebody works for a fee that we think is reasonable, we could say, well, we'd like to contact you when we have grants that we want to apply for. You do not have to take somebody on, on a contingency where you're paying them so much a year. Absolutely not. You can just hire them when you wanted to, when you knew there were grants. And you could even ask somebody on an unpaid basis, depending on how hungry everybody is, to say, contact us if you hear of any grants for municipalities that you think Stanford might be interested in, because it would be to their benefit for us to say, gee, we'd like you to write a grant for them. That wouldn't cost the town any money either, unless we wanted to write a grant for it. But I think having a resource person that we know we can go to would be very helpful.
I move that we place the ad for a grant consultant, grant writer.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Given the fact the gentleman said that the state grants are a piece of cake that a child can win, basically, I don't think we need a grant writer. We also gave you the website. There's a federal website to go to where anybody can
They're
check
not
for
all.
grants.
All of the grants that municipalities can apply for don't come through the state.
He said there's a federal website.
There
you can
is.
go to.
Okay. I think having a resource person would be a benefit to the town and would not cost the town anything.
How is that? How is it not going to cost the town anything? If we have a
Unless
research person?
unless we ask them to write the grant, it would not
Okay,
cost
so-
the town anything.
We'll just run an ad, right?
Yes,
Just to run the ad.
That's all.
that's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, because I know the gentleman that was here before said it would be, I think he charged like $1,400 to rent.
No, the town of Amenia has hired him on a
No, he
contingency
said- he
basis,
said
and they
yearly.
pay him so much every year to write their grants. Other
I
munis,
asked
you do
him-
not have to
I
do
asked
that.
the gentleman how much should we set aside in the budget for a grant writer. He said approximately $16,000.
Yes.
If you're hiring.
If you're hiring him
Right.
to be on contingency.
On
And
contingency,
then we said,
but we're not even thinking about
I
it.
understand that, but then he said, then we asked, and he said it would be approximately $1,400 to write an initial grant to get your foot in the door if you want to get something. That
Well,
was my
he
thing.
he was talking about that one possibility we were looking at. Yes, I think I can remember that. I'm not sure.
Anybody who would do work writing a grant, that hopefully the hope and the, you know, the thinking would be that the town would have a pretty good chance of getting the grant. I mean, you don't ask someone to write a grant if you don't think there's a possibility of getting it. Anybody who's going to write a grant is going to charge something, and if you get the grant, then, you know, it's
But
worth
like
it.
he said, you know, the state's in such bad shape right now, you know, we don't know if we're gonna get anything. As long as we're just going to approve sending out a letter.
That's all.
Yeah,
It's just
right,
advertising.
that's no problem at all. But I just
Yeah,
don't want to go,
It wouldn't hurt to see what's out there.
Sure.
Cost
The
us
idea
no
is to
money.
see what's out there and to see who responds and who's doing municipal grants, grant writing, and to have a resource person that if we wanted to call on them, we would have it there and we wouldn't miss out on many grant opportunities, as I really believe the town has in the last number of years.
well, I don't think we can, I'm for putting the ad in and seeing what we get, but I'm not for spending any money
No,
until
we're
the
putting
next
one
budget.
step at a time.
No, this isn't a matter of spending money, and it's certainly not a matter of hiring someone on a
So
contingency
it's
basis.
just an ad, so.
Right.
It's
but
just an
so-
ad.
so,
Right.
That's fine.
Go for it.
Okay, can we put it to a vote?
Yeah.
All those in
Yes.
favor? All right.
Second ad.
Now, this is something that Mark brought up that had to do with the computer system and the fact that we have had viruses and we have had hackers and we have had other things that have happened that have been problematic with the computers in the town. There has been, when people have come in, other than the person who established, who created the system here, and looked to repair computers, there have been comments that the computer system itself really is inefficient. Frequently, the computers are down or very extremely slow. That has something to do with the way everything is hooked up. So I've suggested that we put an ad in looking for applications to see for a computer consultant who can evaluate our current computer equipment and system, and also be able to provide technical advice and service on an ongoing basis. One of the other concerns, aside from the efficiency of our computer system in the town hall, is that if something has gone wrong, the person who has been servicing the computers is one person. And if he's busy, he says, well, I can come in 3 days. I can't come today, because he's just one person. And I think it would be beneficial to the town if we could have a company that had 2, 3, or 4 people working for it, so that when we called and had a computer that was down, say the building inspector's computer, which has happened, or the assessor's department computer went down, we would be able to get somebody here right away to fix it. So you can read the ad, it's very simple. And we'll see what, it's not a matter of hiring or not hiring, it's a matter of seeing what the possibilities are, and then the town board can decide what it wants to do, what it feels is the best thing. But I do know our computer system